There are moments in baseball that stop you cold. Not because of a walk-off home run, not because of a no-hitter, but because of something far darker, a moment when the sport's unwritten rules cross into something that feels genuinely dangerous. What happened between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Diego Padres in June 2025 was one of those moments, and it directly involved the most valuable player in baseball, Shohei Ohtani. But to truly understand the gravity of what unfolded on that night, you have to go back further, back to a franchise that had Ohtani in its hands for 6 full seasons and couldn't figure out what to do with him. Back to the Los Angeles Angels, a team that simultaneously housed 2 of the greatest players alive and still couldn't win a single playoff game. A team that even now can't seem to escape Ohtani's shadow, even when they are the ones standing in his light. Shohei Ohtani arrived in Major League Baseball in 2018 as a 21-year-old from Japan, fresh off a career with the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters, where he had already proved he could both pitch at an elite level and hit like a cleanup hitter. No team was sure what they were getting. No team fully knew what they had on their hands, and the Angels, who won the posting process and signed him, had absolutely no idea what was about to happen. What happened was extraordinary. Over 6 seasons with the Angels, Ohtani delivered a 2018 AL Rookie of the Year, 2 American League MVP awards, both unanimous, and an MVP runner-up finish. He averaged 4.8 WAR offensively alone in his final 3 seasons as an Angel, paired with an OPS plus of 168, and he pitched brilliantly. In 2022, Ohtani posted a 2.33 ERA, which ranked as the lowest by an Angels pitcher in the modern era. He struck out 219 batters, the most by a Halos starter since Jared Weaver's 233 strikeouts in 2010. He went 6-0 with a 0.45 ERA over a 6-game pitching span from June 9 to July 13, striking out 58 batters while also hitting 8 home runs with a .997 OPS during that same stretch. For context, that placed him alongside Cy Young winners Johan Santana, R.A. Dickey, and Clayton Kershaw as the only pitchers in history to produce those numbers across any 6-game span. And yet, the Angels never made the playoffs. Not once. Not in 6 seasons. Despite having Ohtani and Mike Trout on the same roster at the same time, 2 of the objectively greatest players on the planet, the Angels couldn't build a roster worthy of either of them. The failure to retain Ohtani was not simply a financial miscalculation. It was a series of institutional decisions that, when stacked on top of each other, constituted a complete mismanagement of one of the most valuable assets in the history of professional sports. Reports from the New York Post's John Heyman indicated that several Angels insiders described Ohtani as a loyal guy and a creature of habit. He wanted to stay in Anaheim. He was not looking for the door. But the Angels, straddling the line between contending and rebuilding without fully committing to either, could not meet the terms Ohtani required. 3 of the 4 finalists in the sweepstakes, the Dodgers, the Toronto Blue Jays, and the San Francisco Giants, all agreed to those terms. The Angels did not. There was also the missed opportunity at the trade deadline. Multiple teams had submitted substantial packages for Ohtani during the final years of his contract. The San Diego Padres offered a package centered around outfielder Jackson Merrill in 2022. The Tampa Bay Rays were willing to send 3 of their top 10 prospects, including third baseman Junior Caminero, who went on to hit 45 home runs and drive in 110 runs at just 21 years old in 2025. Owner Art Morneau declined all of it. The Angels lost Ohtani for a compensatory draft pick. Pitching staff deteriorated in those final years as well. Under pitching coach Matt Wise, the Angels posted a 4.64 ERA in 2023, the 8th worst mark in the majors, after ranking 9th best in baseball in 2022 with a 3.77 ERA. The regression was sharp across multiple pitchers simultaneously, and Wise departed after the season to become the bullpen coach for the Chicago White Sox, unable to land a pitching coach role elsewhere in baseball. On December 11, 2023, Shohei Ohtani signed a 10-year, $700 million contract with the Los Angeles Dodgers, the largest contract in professional sports history at the time. The structure of the deal was unique. $68 million per season was deferred, meaning Ohtani would collect just $2 million annually from 2024 through 2033, with the remainder paid out between 2034 and 2043. He had also suffered a UCL tear in his right elbow in late August 2023, requiring surgery performed by Dr. Neil Ella Trake on September 19, 2023. As a result, Ohtani and the Dodgers agreed he would not pitch during the 2024 season, focusing entirely on his role as designated hitter. What followed in 2024 was historic. Playing only as a DH, Ohtani became the first player in MLB history to record 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases in a single season. He was unanimously named the 2024 National League MVP, his 3rd unanimous MVP award, making him the only player in baseball history to achieve that distinction. He also won the 2024 World Series in his first MLB postseason appearance. The Angels, meanwhile, lost 99 games in 2024, the worst mark in franchise history. By June 2025, Ohtani had returned to pitching. He made his Dodgers mound debut that month, and the baseball world watched with the kind of attention reserved for once-in-a-generation events. The Dodgers and San Diego Padres had developed a fierce rivalry by this point, playing 7 games in an 11-day span in June. The tension was real, the animus was real, and it bowled over completely on the night of June 19, 2025 in a way that crossed lines that baseball had not seen crossed in years. In the top of the ninth inning, Dodgers reliever Jack Little hit Fernando Tatis Jr. in the right hand with a fastball. Padres manager Mike Shildt immediately came out of the dugout furious. Both managers, Shildt and Dave Roberts, came out onto the field. Warnings were issued to both benches by the umpires. Then came the bottom of the ninth, with Ohtani coming to the plate as the tying run on a 3-0 count. Padres closer Robert Suarez, a right-handed pitcher, threw a 100 mph fastball up and in, striking Ohtani on the back of his right shoulder blade. The crowd at Dodger Stadium exploded with fury. Players began pouring out of the dugouts. What happened next spoke volumes about the character of the man targeted. As his teammates surged toward the field, Ohtani raised his left hand and vigorously waved them off, walking calmly toward first base and actively calling for peace. He then walked over to the Padres' dugout for a brief exchange, visibly diffusing a moment that could have turned violent. Roberts was direct afterward. "This is a right-handed pitcher going cross-court to hit Shohei up and in. That's a hard throw. And I don't know how many left-handed hitters Suarez has hit with the fastball, but clearly there was intent behind it." Major League Baseball moved swiftly. The league handed down punishments within 24 hours of the incident. Padres reliever Robert Suarez was suspended 3 games and fined an undisclosed amount for intentionally hitting Ohtani with a pitch. Suarez appealed the suspension, allowing him to continue pitching while the ruling was reviewed. He maintained publicly that the hit was not intentional, saying through interpreter Pedro Gutierrez, "It wasn't intentional. That decision was made by the umpires. I knew there was a warning issued to both clubs. I was out there to try to save the game." Padres manager Mike Shildt and Dodgers manager Dave Roberts were each handed 1-game suspensions and undisclosed fines for their roles in the confrontation, specifically for what the league described as unsportsmanlike conduct, and for contributing to inciting the bench's clearing incident. Roberts' ban stemmed largely from the moment he made physical contact with Shildt on the field. Both managers served their suspensions without delay. Because warnings had been previously issued when Tatis was hit in the top of the ninth, Padres bench coach Brian Esposito, serving as acting manager in Shilt's place the following game, was mandatorily ejected the moment Suarez plunked Ohtani. The pitcher was ejected as well. Suarez said on the record, "I was never trying to get anyone into trouble or hit anybody. Unfortunately, it happened. I got ejected and I couldn't finish out the game, but we won as a team." Despite his appeal, the incident produced one of the clearest sets of disciplinary actions MLB had issued in years related to retaliatory hit by pitches. The Dodgers, for their part, confirmed the following morning that despite being hit on his pitching shoulder, Ohtani's next start would proceed as scheduled. Manager Dave Roberts said, No, I'm happy he's not pitching tomorrow. Probably a bruise, but I don't think it's going to impact his start." As this was all unfolding on the national stage, the Los Angeles Angels added their own chapter to the Ohtani saga, and not a flattering one. In April 2026, the Angels released a tribute video celebrating 60 years at Angel Stadium. It was intended as a moment of franchise pride, featuring players and personalities from across the organization's history. The problem? Shohei Ohtani was not included. Not a single highlight, not a single frame. Ohtani won one of the 3 Rookie of the Year awards in franchise history, joining Mike Trout and Tim Salmon. He is also responsible for more than a quarter of all MVP trophies in Angels history, standing alongside Trout as one of only 2 players in franchise history to win multiple MVPs with the team. Excluding him from a retrospective of the franchise's greatest moments was, by any objective measure, a significant omission. The Angels had not had a winning season since 2015 and had not made the playoffs since 2014, both the longest active streaks of their kind in Major League Baseball. The franchise had squandered the simultaneous primes of Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, and now, watching their former star win back-to-back World Series titles with the Dodgers, chose to erase him from their own history rather than acknowledge what they had lost. While the Angels are writing Ohtani out of their past, Ohtani is busy rewriting the record books in the present. The 2026 season has produced what many observers are already calling the most dominant pitching stretch in recent memory. Through 7 starts and 44 innings, Ohtani has posted a 0.82 ERA and a 0.82 WHIP, numbers that do not seem real but are confirmed and documented. He has pitched at least 6 innings in all 7 of those starts, the longest such streak of his MLB career. This has been achieved in part because of a significant strategic adjustment. For the first time in his career, Ohtani has largely not hit on the days he pitches, allowing him to channel his full physical and mental energy into his starts. The results have validated the decision completely. His 4-seam fastball, which averaged 96.8 mph in 2023, now averages 98 mph in 2026, a gain of more than a full mile per hour that scouts attribute in part to his recovery from Tommy John surgery, which appears to have actually increased his arm strength. His sweeper has also gained velocity, now averaging 84.9 mph compared to 83.7 mph pre-surgery. His whiff percentage ranks in the 89th percentile across the league at 32%, and he has posted 4 shutout starts in 7 outings. His advanced numbers back up the surface statistics. His FIP sits at 2.52, his xFIP at 3.11, his SIERA, which predicts future ERA, at 2.95. His ERA is the best mark in the league, at 24, meaning he's pitching at a level 76% better than the league average adjusted for park and ERA. The feeling's pretty good. I feel really good with my pitches, Ohtani said through interpreter Will Ayrton after his 7th start. But today, the deep fly ball in the last out of the 7th inning, that could have really swayed my ERA, so I think there's some luck involved as well. His manager is less restrained in his assessment. Like I've said for a long time, he's a different person when he's pitching, Dave Roberts said. I think he wants to win the Cy Young. I think that helps the Dodgers too in 2026. When he's pitching, I just sort of let him go and he's in his zone. His teammates are watching history unfold in real time. When he's pitching, everybody expects a Cy Young. When he's hitting, everybody expects an MVP and all that stuff, said infielder Santiago Espinal. That's what he showed tonight. Ohtani has never won the Cy Young award. His highest finish was 4th place in 2022 with the Angels, despite a career 2.83 ERA across 7 MLB seasons. The explanation has always been the same. Being a two-way player split the narrative and the votes. There was never one clean story to tell. There was always a pitcher who hits or a hitter who pitches, pulling the conversation in two directions. In 2026, the story is singular. The pitching dominance is the story. He is on a collision course with Paul Skeens and Chris Sale for the NL Cy Young Award, and if the season continues anywhere near its current trajectory, those two pitchers will find it nearly impossible to match what Ohtani is producing. No Cy Young winner in history has also hit 28 home runs in the same season, which Ohtani is currently on pace to do. If that happens, it would be yet another record with his name on it. His 2025 regular season, his first year back pitching after Tommy John surgery, finished with 55 home runs and an OPS/1 for the 3rd consecutive season, earning him his 3rd straight unanimous MVP and his 2nd consecutive in the National League. He then delivered what many are calling the greatest single-game performance in postseason history, a 3-homer game against the Brewers in the NLCS that included 6 scoreless innings and 10 strikeouts on the mound before he went on to reach base a postseason record 9 times in Game 3 of the World Series. The Dodgers won back-to-back championships. Now in 2026, with a 0.82 ERA and a pitching arsenal that has only gotten sharper since his surgery, Ohtani is not chasing history. He is lapping it. There is a through line connecting all of these events that is impossible to miss. The Angels had a player unlike any the sport had ever seen. They failed to build around him. They failed to retain him. They attempted to trade him and missed. They let him walk for a draft pick. And then, when given the chance to at least honor his contribution in a tribute video, they removed him from their own history. The Padres targeted him with a retaliation pitch at 100 mph, hitting the throwing shoulder of a pitcher who had just returned from major elbow surgery. The fallout was swift. Suspensions, fines, ejections, and a public reckoning about the lines baseball is and is not willing to draw when protecting its most important players. And through all of it, the politics, the pettiness, the dangerous moments, Shohei Ohtani waved off his teammates, walked to first base, and kept competing. He did not make it about himself. He made it about winning. As of May 2026, with a 0.82 ERA in 7 starts, 7 home runs, 17 RBIs, and a Cy Young race that is his to lose, the evidence is overwhelming. There is no player in the history of Major League Baseball who has done what Ohtani does. And there is no team, not the Angels who let him go, not the Padres who tried to hurt him, that has found a way to stop what he is building. The only question left is how far he goes.